Hi everyone, it's Nikki here. If you've got to about halfway through your life and you feel like things are not working out the way that you hoped that they would, and you try and make changes, but then you feel like you're going around in circles and that there's an invisible force field holding you back when you get to a certain point. If that's you, then this video is for you. So I'm 45 and that has been my story. Basically, I've wanted to achieve things in my life and haven't been able to. And I didn't realise until recently that it's actually my self-concept that has been holding me back. So it's what I'm thinking about myself, how I feel about myself, and who I perceive myself to be. That is affecting everything in my life. So the opportunities that come into my life, the amount of confidence I have, the relationships I attract into my life, absolutely everything comes from self-concept, from who we feel and think ourselves to be. So there are a couple of changes that I want to make in my life, and I want to make these videos for anybody else out there who's wanting to make a change and they've got partway through their lives and they've really been struggling and you feel like maybe there's no hope. But there definitely is hope, and I hope that these videos show me making a change and that will inspire you also to make a change. So what I really had to realise is that I don't need to change myself and I don't need to change my outside reality. What I needed to do was realise who I really am, which is pure consciousness, and that I'm perfect as I am. And that all of the things I don't like, so the lack of self-confidence, the lack of self-belief, and all of those bad habits and all of those things that have accumulated in my life, they were actually a self-concept that I didn't choose. They were things I picked up in my childhood from the way that other people used to speak to me or things that other people have said to me. And we all do this, we all create this self-concept. And it's not actually true, it's just coming from other people. So I had to come back to myself and come back to knowing who I am. And once you do that, once you know who you really are, you can then choose your own self-concept and choose who you want to be. So that's what I've done, that is the process that I'm going through. So there are two changes that I want to make in my life, and one of them is to get in shape, and the other one is to be a professional singer. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about my journey with singing, and hopefully that will inspire somebody else to make a change. So I started singing when I was in my early 20s and had really bad stage fright, and I used to get up and sing and then forget lyrics or crack at a note, or something would go really wrong and then I would quit, and then I would try again and then I would quit, and it was like a never-ending cycle. And this was happening all the way through my 20s and 30s, and then when I got to around 41 I decided, okay, I still really want to sing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to open mic nights and I'm just going to make myself do it every week, and I'm going to have peace with the fact that it's probably going to suck and I'm going to make mistakes, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep doing it, and eventually, hopefully, I will get over this fear. So that's what I did. I started going to these open mic nights, and I made loads of progress and I did get over this fear. But there was still something holding me back. And it was probably about a year ago that I found this out about self-concept and realised that the person that I thought that I was couldn't actually be a singer. She didn't have permission to be a singer. She didn't feel good enough to be a singer. So I had to give myself permission to be a singer, and it was a lot about coming back to myself and loving myself, even though that sounds really cheesy, and knowing who I am and that I was perfect as I was, and just giving myself permission to do what I wanted to do and let this intelligence or the universe or God or whatever it is in me to sing through me. So what I've been doing, I've basically been living every day as if I'm a singer. So talking to myself like I'm a singer. So if I do a bad performance, I won't be mean to myself. I'll just look at it with detachment and think, what can I learn? And then put those things into practice in the next performance. And also, what kind of habits would a professional singer have? So it's about implementing the habits as well. So it's been about thinking and feeling, talking to myself like a professional singer, and also implementing all the habits of a professional singer. So there's definitely been ups and downs with this process. And I think that's important to say. And it's really just about staying consistent and staying with that new concept of yourself every single day, no matter what happens. There have been good performances, there have been not so good performances, but I've just had to pick myself up, learn the lessons that I needed to learn and carry on. So something that happened recently is that I went to an open mic night at a pub. And when I went in there were a couple of people that I used to work with. So I went over and said hello and we had a little conversation, and then I went and sat down, and then when it was my turn to get up and sing, I got up and I was feeling a kind of a strange energy, it was like a bit off from this group of people, and it started to get in my head when I was singing. And I felt like I didn't really do my best when I was singing, because I was kind of in my head thinking, what are they thinking? And, you know, what are they talking about when I'm singing? And it was really not a good experience. And then when I got off stage, they just completely ignored me. They didn't come and say, oh, that was good, or they just didn't acknowledge me at all. It was really weird. They kept walking past me and just not even looking at me, which I thought was really, really strange. And then I got even more in my head, and I was thinking, was I just really, really terrible? But then a lady that I didn't know came up to me and said, oh, you've got a really good voice. Are you a professional singer? And I was like, oh, thank you. And then that made me think, okay, I think these people are actually jealous of me and they're kind of like hating on me. And then when I got home, I was like, oh, you know what, I don't think I'm going to go back to the open mic night, because if they're going to be there again, because it was one of their sons that was actually singing at the open mic night, so they're probably going to be there again. I thought, if they're going to be there, it's really going to put me off, and maybe I'll just avoid that open mic night. And then when I calmed down and had a chance to actually process it, I thought, no, I think this is something that I need to use as a tool, and I need to actually go back to that open mic night and sing in front of these people, even if they do hate me or whatever's going on there, and just use it to kind of create a bit of a force field around myself when I'm singing, and so that I know that I can sing in front of anybody, no matter what's going on, and I'm not going to let it get in my head. And also, if you are a singer or you do anything creative, then you do really have to have thick skin, because there is this element where you do get haters, and you do get people that are jealous, or they just want to share their negative opinion with you. So you do need to have really thick skin. So I'm going to use this to develop an even thicker skin. So I really hope that this video has inspired somebody and shown that it is possible to make a change at any time in your life. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.